All right, everyone. Welcome to the Steven Universe Q&A. I want to, and as you can see, we have a guest here, a Steven Universeologist right here, TheRealManos.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I enjoy talking about the show, and I haven't done it very much since the show ended. I think I've only done one video since the show concluded, where I talked about the Lars of the Stars announcement, and that was fun. And it's kind of gotten me thinking about doing more videos talking about Steven Universe. I really kind of miss this franchise series world. I try not to call it universe because it's got universe in the name.
Corporate IP.
Yeah, damn it.
All right. So I want to thank everyone who sent in questions for this. And as always, if you'd like to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started with our questions, starting with David Deister, whose first of three questions is, what is the best and worst season of Steven Universe?
Did you want to handle that first, or?
Best and worst for me, I think the best is season 3, because that's where I feel like the show really hits the ground running with the whole universe itself. I think if you were to say least favorite, I don't think there's a bad season, but I think season 1, because the show is trying desperately to find its legs and it doesn't know what it wants to be. You know what I mean?
I understand. It's kind of building, and creators often, like, when they create like a long-standing story, yeah, you're right. It's kind of like them figuring it out, and when you compare it to later stories and episodes, it will feel awkward. And there's a lot of examples of this. My first thought is One Piece, like early on in the manga and the anime, where some tone shifts are just a little bit off, and Oda would have to like retcon stuff in that he didn't invent yet. And so, yeah, that happens a lot with creators. I would probably go, and I agree with the idea that there's no real bad season.
Yeah.
But if I had to like rank, I think season 4 for me, just barely, because there's a lot
for best or worst, or least favorite.
For worst or least favorite, I think season 4 is my least favorite.
Okay.
Just barely, and that's because there's a lot of transition in some of these episodes. They're kind of like tying some things up, so I don't know, there's a few episodes where I kind of there's a few episodes where I just feel like there's just some awkwardness and in building, like, the second half of the story and stuff. Like, I don't know, there's just a few episodes where it just feels like it's kind of taking a break, and I think that's the season with Onion Friends, which is one of my least episodes. And there's a few too many of those kind of episodes back to back in that season, where like it starts so strong and then it kind of takes a break and then we get back to it. I'd say best season. I would probably, man, I don't know. I think my favorite seasons are the odd seasons. I think 1, 3, and 5 are my favorite seasons of that series. I'd probably, man, I don't know. I think, I would probably. This might sound controversial, but I really like season 1 a lot, and I know that's, and then part of the reason I like it so much is I think the reason that some people don't like this this season is the show is kind of finding itself, and there's a nice subdued relaxed nature to some of these episodes.
Yeah.
As the show kind of like builds, and I don't know, there was something really cool about the weird mysterious mystery going on. Like it was a mystery where you didn't really know what the questions were. Like the gems are showing Steven all these different aspects of gem culture, and you get the sense they're not telling him everything. And that started fans kind of instantly starting putting things together in different directions. And then, of course, the season just ends so perfectly with them being attacked by Jasper.
Yeah.
And the big reveal on Garnet. It's I don't know. And it's 52 episodes. Good Lord.
That's true. Yeah.
They didn't do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the vibe I get from a lot of those episodes in that season.
Okay.
3 is excellent, and 5, of course, is a real banger. But I don't know. This one personally speaks to me.
Okay. All right. Second question. If a live action Steven Universe could happen, how would it be handled? Poorly. Very poorly.
Very poorly.
Especially now with like, if we made a Steven Universe movie with now Paramount possibly owning it, God, could you just imagine the gems being trad wives?
Ugh, that's terrible.
So yeah, that is the quickest answer.
Zack Snyder's Steven Universe. So I definitely, I don't know. Rebecca Sugar would have to be directly involved. And it would have to be someone who's a fan of the series and would have to understand, the vibe and tone of the show.
I don't think it can work as a movie, honestly.
I think it can, but it could very easily go wrong. And it would have to be in the hands of people who really care. The studio would have to stay out of the way. And I see that if this did happen and it went wrong, it would most likely be the result of the studio just getting in the creators' ways, hiring the wrong people and making the wrong.
So every movie studio.
Yeah, I know. I know that's kind of a generic answer. I think it could be done well if all the circumstances were right. But I don't know. I don't need one.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it either. I just make it animated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So third question. How would a Steven Universe Has Been Hotel crossover be like? Or what would it look like?
I don't have an answer for that.
I would say I would say my answer would be that I don't know if have you watched Has Been Hotel?
Yeah, I've seen season 1.
Okay, so I'd probably have it as that like Charlie, the main character, is like trying to get more people to come to the hotel, but she doesn't really have she realizes I don't have the skills to talk to these people and change their minds. So she's looking up at Earth and sees Steven. And he's like, oh my God, he's great. He's turning all these bad people and making them realize how awful they are. So she goes up and gets him. But since this is hell, she doesn't really have the tact to tell everyone, hey, I'm borrowing your boy. She just essentially kidnaps him and brings him to hell to be like, hey, I need you to teach these demons how to be nice. But the gems see it as, oh my God, this weird lady came out of the thing of fire, snatched our son, and ran off.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have a pitch for that story. But I could definitely see Steven and Charlie getting along well. And now they mention it, the themes do work pretty well together as far as not just redemption, but also standing up to a rigid society and its structure on teaching people what they should be and what roles they're supposed to fit, and
Yeah.
actually finding yourself and also standing up again. Yeah, and actually that does seem less random now that I think about it. I don't know what story I would pitch for it because I hadn't thought about it until literally just now.
Yeah. I would also love to
But
do stuff with Pearl and Vaggie, if you remember that
yeah,
character, Charlie's girlfriend.
yeah. They would definitely probably hit it off. But yeah, the themes of those shows actually fits closer in tone than I initially thought. Actually, so yeah, I don't have a story, but I definitely see the connections for it.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for those questions, David. Moving on down to Bill McLaughlin, who asks, who would you say is the GOAT of Steven Universe? Do you want to field this one first? Because I have a direct answer.
In character, I wonder if that
in character, like character.
Well, I mean, obviously, Garnet is like, the prime choice for that question. Because she's a character that is literally keeping it together, literally and figuratively. She's a character that was asked, I assume, I don't think we're actually ever told, but she does take the mantle of leadership. I assume she was asked directly, and if not, she just took the reins. Because when you think about it, she's half of a high-ranking gem, so she did take. Sapphire did take, the reins of leadership.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have all the information, as we realized throughout the series.
Yeah. It's basically like if Ironhide took over Optimus's job.
Correct. Yes. She's very Ironhide, actually. But yeah, and she has to manage all these different fires, and doing her best to keep things together, and also at the same time be a cool badass.
Yeah.
So yeah, not bad.
My answer is a little different, but I think when I give my answer, I think you'll understand. My pick for GOAT of Steven Universe is Connie.
Yeah. There's a few good, solid answers, and Connie is another one.
Connie is a great one because, especially by the end of the show, when that moment where she's like, all of you, shut up. It's not about you. It's about Steven. I also like that she basically overcomes her own insecurities. She overcomes her own fears and kind of becomes almost like a leader in training by Pearl. And also she's the defunct 2 leader of the other gems, Lapis and Peridot.
Yeah, she is ironically a rock for Steven. And you're right about her character arc, and that's one of the things I admire so much about Connie is she is an insecure girl who can't stand up to her mom when we first meet her. And not even at the end of the series, she is someone who will chop a god in the face with a sword for Steven and for her world. Oh, that's a pretty big leap, I gotta say. Exactly. I do love Connie a lot. She's such a great character, and maybe a little underappreciated by the fandom sometimes.
I feel that.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on feeling that way. Sometimes it feels like she's a little overlooked.
I feel that too.
Dismissed. But the people who really like Connie are hardcore supportive of her. So she's not a completely lost in the woods, at least I think. She's a great other choice.
Okay. All right. So, second question. If any of the gems were to betray Steven, who would it most likely be? Outright betray him. I'm going to say Jasper. If this is post-show, then yeah. And I have a reason why, not because, she's just going to fall back into herself. I think the reason why Jasper would betray Steven if we were to go by the end of the show, it's more she likes Steven now, but that doesn't mean they're cool. Also, she's loyal to her people and also her mission. So if her mission is have different parameters than what Steven wants, she's just going to be well, I'm just going to punch you in the face now.
Mm-hmm.
because she's still a soldier. Like she's still like, I take orders. This is, I am bred for this. If it's like how I kind of imagine the scenario is like, maybe there's some kind of mission and it's endangering a lot of lives, and Steven's trying to be like, no, we have to save these people, but Jasper would be like, no, our objective is that. So what? It's collateral damage. I don't understand, because she wouldn't understand the problem. Like she doesn't see the problem. Like, if we take care of this, then it's all fixed. Just, who cares if just a couple hundred die? Like, that would be her thought process.
Yeah. I would also agree. If you count Jasper in the immediate group of gems, yes, I would definitely put her, because, I mean, look how late in the game it took to redeem her, and that's only because she lost everything. Like, even the society, the structural society that she depended so much and believed so much in, that had to fall away for her to go, okay, I guess I'll do this. I guess her redemption is also pretty believable too. Like, she doesn't instantly go on board, because she has to think about it for a while. Like, okay, I guess I'll hang out in the woods and just sulk, kind of see what I can. I don't know. I don't have any function anymore. What the hell am I going to do? Um, and she's not told. It's more about the situations had changed more than she had changed. She was kind of forced into a different direction by uh, by her world, and she's kind of begrudgingly going in that direction. So if you count her in the immediate group, yeah, because I could see circumstances changing, where she would like betray him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not convinced yet that she's 100% sincere.
yeah. If you, because everyone else, it's like, no one would do that. Like, even like Pearl.
Yeah.
Someone would make I know these very hollow arguments that, like, oh, if Pearl got the chance to like get Pink back, if it meant getting rid of Steven, she would. And I'm like, no, we saw that in literally an episode where she was about to murder Steven as a baby, and then went, no, I can't do that.
And I would make the argument that she didn't understand that would kill Steven.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah. Because, like, none of the characters, Steven's the first of his kind. So, and they didn't understand. So, yeah. Yeah, Pearl. Yeah, I know Pearl would probably be a popular pick for some people, but not at all. I don't think she would ever.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we were to pick anyone, it's Jasper, but even then, the circumstances.
Yeah.
And your third question, Bill, is how would you think the Gem Empire would fare as a faction in Warhammer 40K? I'm going to have to field this one.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because I don't know what the fuck
Warhammer is. Bill, you are aware I did a whole video last year talking about all that. So I would say if it's the current, like the height of the Gem Empire, I think they would probably be like a very dominant force. But if as the gems as they are now, they would be, it's very much even keel. Like, I think they would have a dominant sector in the galaxy, but they would be fighting opponents, because it's very clear in the show at the height of the Gem Empire, it didn't look like they were basically like Viltrum or something, where they were very unopposed. But now it's just kind of like they're a decaying empire, and now you're contending with not other factions that, while they are having their own problems, they can easily hold their own in a galaxy constantly at war. So yeah, and like I said, I did a whole video on this, Bill. You saw it. But thank you for that question, Bill. Moving on now to Hunter Johnson, whose first question is, how powerful could Steven Universe become? I'm not good at power scaling, so this is going to be fascinating.
I don't know. I have more of a loose attitude towards power scaling. I guess if I cared enough, I could do it. But I do think he'd be extraordinarily powerful. I don't know if he would because his mother Rose is a diamond, so she has all the powers of that. Um, there are hints that she was slightly unique in the Diamond Collective, and with his added ability of being a human, like I guess that throws that question in, like, is that a detriment or is that an advantage? Like, does it increase his powers? Um, and I, oh, how would I would definitely put him in comparison to, like, if we're talking DC Marvel type of things, I would definitely put him in kind of the like the higher tier powerhouses.
I
Um,
would say like something like a Carol Danvers kind of power level.
and correct, let's see, or Martian Manhunter, because he can kind of do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like he has an unlimited scope of powers, and who knows how strong they'll get as he gets older and gets more powerful. And his age, I mean, he might be ageless. Like
Yeah.
he might it might be, because I think his age is determined by him. So, oh, I have thought that, like I have wondered about, like, how how much of an earth shattering you know powerhouse could he be? And I think there's almost no limit to how strong he can go. I think his own limit, like in a lot of cases with a lot of these kind of characters, is his own mind and his own perceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, he could turn into a kaiju if he wanted to. So I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of, he's kind of limitless.
Yeah. All right. So there's our answer on that question. Second question. What are your thoughts on the Diamond AU's alternate universes where Steven's mother is a different diamond? Have you ever seen those?
I've seen those. I've seen some AUs of, like, what if the gems were the other three gems of, Peridot, Lapis, and Jasper. I've seen a couple different, a gender swapped one. I've seen the different diamonds, and yeah, I don't. His direction, considering what the diamonds kind of each represent, um, I guess it would make his path a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The thing specifically is about Rose is that she was the child of unsupportive of an unsupportive family who didn't appreciate who she was.
Yeah.
So for Stephen to be a child of one of the other diamonds, like, are we talking about? I haven't read any of these, but are we talking about, like, if, like, the different diamonds, would they be in the same position that Rose was in, or
That's the thing.
would
Like
they?
they're all different, but I think the question is, have we seen any of them? And if we haven't,
I have not seen any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have not seen any of them, so I have no favorite.
Um, I have seen a few. The Blue Diamond ones are always depressing. Where Blue Diamond is Steven's mom. Those are always depressing.
Yeah,
The Yellow Diamond ones are the most diverse because some are just, what if Yellow Diamond switched sides during the war, and Jasper, Lapis, and Peridot took care of Steven instead. And I actually like those a lot because, like, that dynamic is like right off the gate. It's like Jasper sees it as like a priority to protect Steven. Like it's her mission.
yeah,
And then you have like Lapis, who's more like the Amethyst stand-in because she's got a little more free will, and Peridot is the Pearl stand-in because, like, she still has her like limb connectors, and it's almost like she's. If you've ever seen Transformers Prime, she's almost treated like how Ratchet is in that show.
yeah. I actually, if we're going in this direction of the conversation, I would propose that Jasper would actually be the Pearl stand-in.
Really?
Yes, because think of how, when uh, he shattered her and brought her back to life, she was completely subservient to him. In the same way that Pearl was, uh, to Rose, and like I was kind of bringing, I've talked a lot about Jasper
Yeah,
so far. I didn't expect to be talking so much about Jasper at this point.
I'm
But
surprised too.
yeah, Jasper puts so much into how things should be, and that's kind of very similar to Pearl. Pearl came from that kind of mentality that she had to break through. She broke through like years ago, not only because one of the leaders said it's okay to do this and trying to please her.
Yeah.
I can see Jasper, going all the way to whatever Steven needs to do. So I don't know. Maybe that makes me unique. I don't know if anybody else has thought about that, but
No, that's an interesting train of thought.
Because I think a lot of people would automatically put her in Garnet's position because, well, they're both powerhouses.
Yeah.
And I think that's a natural thing to think of. But I don't know. I'm thinking in terms of like, behavior and how they view the system. And I don't know. I just think she would be like on his by his side at all times, in the same way Pearl was.
Okay. Third question. Would it be interesting to see Stephen and Gems take on supernatural threats like Wendigos, werewolves, and vampires, or any form of supernatural horror? See, I think it would, but I think in the terms of the show, I think they would explain that those are just gem mutates.
Correct. Steven Universe does something very similar, and Steven Universe is very influenced by anime, and a lot of anime shows will have only one villain. Sailor Moon, Gotcha Man, Power Rangers. The Sentai, Super Sentai. They all fight the same guys.
Well, Sailor Moon does every season; they get a different one.
Yeah, true, but I mean, it's the same people. Like,
yeah, okay,
season. Yeah, they don't fight anybody else. They don't take a break and fight werewolves.
That's true.
But that would be neat, and that's the thing that kind of separates a lot of like Japanese heroes from Western heroes. Like Batman. Like, okay, Batman fights the Joker this week. Batman fights a cult this week. Batman, fights Two-Face this week, and then ninjas who want to destroy the world, and aliens. Oh, and then the Clock King. He's all over the place, and a lot of anime heroes don't tend to do that. Like I was watching. I love Gotcha Man, the 70s show, and they only fight Galactor. And Galactor the show would start off with like, somebody attacked this base with this weird monster robot. Like, who could it be? Like, it's always Galactor. Why are we wasting a minute thinking about this? No one else uses giant worm robots. So yeah, Steven kind of like falls into that because during the run of the show, I kept thinking, man, it'd be cool if they fought like some other threat, and unrelated to Gem, the Gem world. But that's not obviously the story Sugar was telling. But I don't know. I kept thinking like, man, it'd be cool. I could go for fighting werewolves or aliens or robots or villains. Or there's a couple episodes where, like, when they fight Ronaldo,
yeah,
when he kidnapped Steven that one time, it's like that's fun. And I don't know. I would have liked to have seen that. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, I think it would be cool, but I think in the terms of, like, if we're going by the logic of the show, it would just, I think, like, the episode would go, like, maybe Ronaldo ropes Steven into finding, like, a werewolf in town, and then, or a Wendigo or something, and it turns out, it's just a gem mutant.
Yeah. Well, that's usually how it goes. And keep in mind, if we're talking about Ronaldo always has to be wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or wrong about this. And actually, the way you paint it is correct. Like he would go after like a Bigfoot, and it's just a gem. He never sees the thing. It's very obviously in his face. He goes, "Oh, some other stupid conspiracy thing." Oh, not the most obvious one. Which is what I think is so funny about him.
All right. Thank you for those questions, Hunter. Moving on now to Tom Hibbert, who asks, is Steven Universe a franchise you've fallen out of love with, or do you still like it? I still like it. Just because I don't talk about it a lot because there's really nothing to talk about right now until we get Lars of the Stars. I will admit that there are some flaws with the show, and I think we did get a question talk about those flaws, but it's still really good.
I still love it, and actually, since the Lars of the Stars announcement, I have been kind of thinking about it a lot more lately. And also, we had Steven appear in that video game with the DC characters, and they did a comic book related. The multiverses, yeah. They Steven and Garnet appeared in the multiverses comic, which was very cool because you got to see Steven and Garnet hanging out with the DC Trinity, which is something I always wanted to see.
Unfortunately, it's not a good comic.
Yeah, it's fine. It's passable. To be honest, like all I really cared about was just seeing these characters interact. That's kind of all.
I mean, did you ever think we'd get a comic where Steven, Bugs Bunny,
Never.
the Wicked Witch of the Witch, and Superman would be in?
Never thought of that. Never thought I'd see that. And it delivered on what it promised. I would, let's see. Yeah, I would say I'm actually, it's right. Since it's been off the air, there's really been nothing. So yeah, I haven't diminished on it at all.
Yeah. Okay. Second question. Who's a character you wish the show did more with? I got a few answers to this one.
Yeah, there's a few characters.
I think Bismuth is first and foremost.
Correct, yeah. Of course, Lars of the Stars.
Yeah.
And that's obvious because like the sequel show is about Lars, so they wanted to do more with it. I also would like to boy, there is, I don't know, I guess those are two big answers.
Yeah. I will say that I think one of the things is it was a missed opportunity is like talk about Jasper and Lapis's whole thing, because now like one of the things with Steven Universe Future was everyone's just okay with Jasper living in town now. She's a war criminal. And also, didn't she also quintessentially sexually assault Lapis?
You could make that argument, but I would probably I'd also like to see some of the I would like to have seen a little bit more of the secondary villains, not just the Diamonds and Jasper, but like Holly Blue, Agate,
Emerald.
Yeah, Emerald. Let's see. Yeah, just there's some definite like villains who were totally cool with the Diamond regime that have been cut to the wayside. And they did hint at Steven Universe Future does mention like, oh man, there's some gems that are not on board. And maybe we'll see that in the Lars of the Stars series. But
like a bunch of like warlords and stuff.
Definitely. Like, or maybe like, okay, we're gonna make Gem Homeworld. We're gonna make Homeworld great again. So there's definitely
okay.
Gonna
there
be,
you are.
Okay, good. When did I cut out?
You were midway through the whole like talk about the other gems that weren't on board.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of gems who are totally cool with how things were, and they want to make Homeworld great again. So uh, it would be nice to see. Since we are getting a new show, it'd be cool to see those villains pop up. I know there was literally. I understand that there was literally no time to put these villains in there, but it would
Yeah.
have been nice if they'd been sewn a little bit tighter into the show.
Okay. And moving on to our final question from Tom. Do you think Pink Diamond is a terrible character in the show? I think complex is the word.
Yeah, that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
It You can interpret terrible character in two ways. Like, is she a terrible person in universe or a poorly written character? And the answer for both of those is no, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's just more, it's not that she's a terrible character. It's more like she's kind of like the facade of like this great Optimus Prime like character we all had in our head is like, no, she was a petulant child who bullhorned her way into everything.
Yeah. I like the interpretation. I've heard this from a few fans that the Rose Quartz redemption arc is told in reverse, because we as an audience meet her at the end of her journey, and we only find out through flashbacks and as the story unfolds of what type of person she used to be and the type of person she's like struggled to become. And I would maintain that through Steven, she's like even further like advanced her development, because like she was a person in transition, essentially. Like, she wasn't satisfied with who she was as Pink Diamond, so she killed herself and became Rose Quartz, and she took
Yeah.
that as far as she could go, and literally, uh, uh, died and came back as Steven, a completely different person with his own, sentience and will, and she's gone, and um, that it's she's constantly in a person, in constant change, in flux. So, and I as a character, I just really kind of really enjoy her. There's so much depth to that character, and also I do love the aspect of finding more about your heroes and seeing that they're imperfect, and I like that she had that effect on characters in universe, and fans watching the show had that same kind of reaction,
Yeah.
and there were fans mad. And I think that's good. They should. Some of them should have just got mad, and that I think is like a testament to how well this was put together.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely. I think with me is that I I find it fascinating that like you said, the fandom itself. No, we had because we had this image in our. Okay, there you are.
Yeah,
They had this, as I was saying, they had like this image in their head about, regarding um, this character, and like you said, it's the end of the arc, and I think this idea of willingly deconstructing what we had, it was kind of done almost perfectly of this deconstruction of this character for not just the characters but the fans in general. That's
yeah,
very hard to do.
yeah, yeah. Because we have this perception of her. Think about what if the creators of Avatar did this with Iroh?
Yeah.
Because we only got to see like the awesome person he is at the end of his journey, but we're only given a hint that maybe he wasn't so great, before things started to change for him. And we've only been given like maybe one real scene. Um, we don't know what kind of possible war crimes he was doing as the potential leading son of the fire uh,
The Fire Lord. Yeah.
the Fire Lord. We're not really given anything like that. But I mean, I would be interested to see how Avatar fandom would react if we got to see a little bit of his past, and maybe he wasn't so cool to some of the people in certain kingdoms.
Yeah.
He's laughing at the potential of taking
Burning.
down Ba Sing Se and burning it down. That's only one real line in it. So I would be curious. I would be curious to see how the fandom would react if we got to see some not great shit.
Yeah. So actually, Manos, I kind of fucked up. That was that question we just did of previously of who's a character you wish the show did more with. That was from Jason, not Tom.
Oh no.
Tom's other question was, what would you say was the funniest moment in the show? I'm gonna say the one that I for some reason I find hysterical is like when they're talking about blocking off the temple from the town again, and Amethyst just goes, "I could be the crocodile," and Pearl just goes, "You always say you want to be the crocodile, but you never commit." I'm like, that's like a Simpsons level joke.
God, the instructional video Sadie shows Steven on how to work at the donut place is extremely funny.
That's a good one too.
With the rap song, and it's like so, obviously shot in maybe 90s, and that bad rap song. Very funny. God, let's see. There's the line of Peridot tells them about what to do about the spaceship they're going to be traveling in to go save Greg, and then they just yeah, and then it gets them in trouble, and Pearl says that line of this is why we don't listen to Peridot. It's like if you guys had just listened to Peridot, you would have avoided the problem, but you're mad at her for that. I don't know. That line is very funny to me. And let's see. God, there's just there is man. There is,
you're gonna have to say that again because the internet just that whole joke with Pearl and Peridot, it just crapped out.
Oh crap! Well, there's that line where Peridot starts explaining, how the spaceship works before they go to rescue Greg, and they kind of blase through the whole thing, and then they get into the trouble, and Pearl says that line about this is why we don't listen to her. It's it just I love that line a lot. Let's see. There's a lot of a lot of my favorite is just particular lines. My least favorite character is Onion.
Yeah.
But oh boy, every creepy scene when they're over the house is really funny. He just randomly has a tape of his birth that he watches sometimes. That's really funny to me. The scene where Pearl breaks away from Greg during the Mr. Greg song. And it's getting too tense for her, and she can't. And one of the bellhop says, "Boo! You ruined the song." That's very funny.
I do like it. I do like when they actually acknowledge when they're singing. I like those jokes where it's just like, "What are you doing?" You gotta. Who was it? I can't remember which character it was, but someone goes, "We are in the middle of a crisis. Stop singing."
I enjoy those kind of jokes. But yeah, that's there's and certain little line inflections like Amethyst. Which episode is it? When Pearl is teaching Connie how to sword fight, and Steven's having feelings about where the training's going, and Amethyst comes up to him and just angrily says, "Hey, why are you standing there looking sad and stuff?" That's funny. Like, there's no reason for her to say it like that. And I have heard, I don't know, I heard this online that Michaela Dietz just read it like that for a joke, and they were like, oh, "That's pretty funny. Okay, let's keep that."
That actually reminds me of, like, I know it's a non sequitur, but like in The Mummy Returns, in one of the takes,
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser is fighting with the CGI mummies, and he said it, I quote, "Out of being raised on Three Stooges, I pretend to poke the mummy in the eyes because I was like, it's the first take, they're not going to do anything." And then they held cut, and he hears the director and all the other sets go, "Yeah, that's kind of funny. Can we do that in the budget?" No, you got to admit, it's pretty funny. And they go over to Brendan and go, "Hey, we're going to use that take."
That's some of my favorite. I don't know. I love those kind of moments in filmmaking. It's like that. But yeah, I don't know. Those are some of my favorite jokes. I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch. Yeah. And I know after we stop recording, I'll go, "Oh shit, I should have mentioned that joke."
Yeah.
But so, yeah, those are among my favorites.
All right, so thank you for those questions, Tom. Sorry for the hookup, but now we come to Jason, who we already answered one of his questions, so we only have to do two here. Mm-hmm. Have you read any of the Steven Universe Boom Studio comics?
Yes.
I haven't, but you have.
I've read a whole bunch, and some of the comics are just okay. It started out okay, and then it got progressively better. There's I will recommend some stuff. There's a mini series called Steven Universe and the Crystal Gems, which is a really good mini series of a gem tool or weapon getting out of control in Beach City. That one's really good. And there is a mini series, and I think it's collected in a book called Harmony, which I think is the best of the Steven Universe comics. I think it feels like it could have been a movie. Like if they made a second Steven Universe movie, this would have been it. The art's gorgeous. It's written really in tune with how the series is supposed to be. And it's done in a different format. It's done in the format isn't traditional comic book size. It's a little bit more wider, and it uses that art really efficiently. Okay. Those would be my two recommendations. The basic series was pretty good. Had its hits and misses. But the two miniseries I'd recommend, or they're probably collected in trades, Steven Universe and the Crystal Gems and Harmony. I think those are excellent.
Okay. I see. I haven't read any, so thank you for those recommendations.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So Jason's other question, because we answered one of them by accident. What comic villains could you see as Steven Universe villains? I guess any comic villain. So I would say, for me, I'd probably say like I honestly think Steven and the Gems would probably be. God, I do think that Steven and Darkseid, not because Darkseid, like Steven believes he can change Darkseid. It'd be more like, no, the female Furies just knocked on our door and just stole Connie. We need to go to Apocalypse to go get her back.
I've thought about Darkseid, and not because he would try. I mean, maybe he would try, but Steven is a guy who, like, he will try, but he will give up if he sees like he can't. Like, he'll do his best, but if you ain't coming, it's he's gonna fight you and he's gonna take you down. That's something a lot of fans and detractors don't think about when they talk about Steven. I would love to see like Darkseid specifically, because Darkseid is somewhat similar to what he's already fought against in the Diamonds. And so he has some experience with that. If we're talking more like kind of like smaller tier villains. God, my thoughts obviously go right to like Spider-Man villains.
No.
Like Sandman would be interesting. Uh, Shocker could be a threat.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it also, because I think like Steven could reach out to Shocker. Like he's one of those
yeah.
villains who would be like, "What are you doing, man?"
And yeah, Shocker could be a threat, and he's also not a completely evil guy. He's one of those kind of like career villains.
Yeah. I think that's the same thing with like Steven and the Rogues from the Flash villains would get along.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe, maybe this might seem random, but Giganta from Wonder Woman would be an
She'd be
interesting.
great. I think
Yeah,
Cersei would also be cool.
yeah. I think I have thought about like Steven and Wonder Woman crossovers before, and so I've naturally like thought, yeah, her villains would be really interesting with him.
Just the mental image of Giganta fighting like Alexandrite would be great.
Oh yeah, I mean we're all set. We're all set for that.
Yeah. I think like if we're gonna go by other villains on like the Marvel side, I would say like a Annihilus would be fun.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah.
I think also like because the thing with Steven is that he can kind of bounce between cosmic level threats and street level villains to see him with, because like I think Steven would like try reaching out to every
Mm-hmm.
tier villain them. Anyway, yeah, but like I was saying, I'm so sorry to everyone watching. The internet connection's just been bothersome. But as I was saying, like Steven can walk that line of like, hey, yeah, you want to come join us, or do you want to come talk about it? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, I'm going to throw a pink shield at your face.
That's right.
And then you have like cosmic level threats, and I think it would be kind of fun to see like maybe even Mephisto try to just fuck with Steven a bit to see like, hey, you're all pure and stuff. Let's put that to the test.
And it would be richly satisfying to see Mysterio completely defeated. That like
Mephisto.
Mephisto, excuse me. What did I know?
You said Mysterio.
Oh, whoops. I love Mysterio. Mephisto, excuse me. I would love to see Mephisto completely defeated on that front. Like, hey, here's some cool shit. Well, no. I don't know. I guess, I'm not a huge Rick and Morty fan, but man, the way Rick Sanchez deals with the devil, I think feels the most real. And let's see. But yeah, like God, there's so many. I'll be honest with you. Like I'm a Marvel DC guy, so there's an endless. I would almost. It would be harder for me to dissect villains I don't want them to interact with. I mean, I would probably have a list, and I could go down the road like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk.
I think the Super Scroll would be fun too.
Super Scroll would be fun. Let's see, Galactus would be interesting. And man, Galactus. God, can you imagine Galactus and what's the fusion where they're all? That's Obsidian.
Obsidian. Yeah, Obsidian.
Oh my God, Obsidian. Oh, hey, let me harken back to the question of who would you like to see more. I would love to see another shot of Obsidian. Holy crap. What a perfect creature.
I think also when you bring up Galactus is like, he could be reasoned with. It's not like Darkseid he can be reasoned with. He can't be reasoned with. Like Galactus, I think Steven would be like standing in Galactus's hand and being like, hey, so why do you do this? And Galactus would be like, I don't do this I'm not evil. I need to live.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that amazing to think that Galactus is more reasonable than Darkseid? But that's true.
Yeah. He's like, because I think Steven would bring up, you don't have to do this, and then Galactus would be like, no, I do. I'll die. I literally need to feed. I'm sorry, your gem home. Like, yeah, that could be like Galactus goes to the gem homeworld. He's gonna eat it, and Steven gets in the way, and now Steven's like, I can't let him die, but I can't let my other home die with my two aunts and my grandmother.
You know, here's the thing. What if the gem homeworld isn't enough anymore to sustain him? Like, it's so weakened and decimated that there's not. I mean, it's so drilled in mind that it's cracked open. Like, maybe it's not as tantalizing to him as it would have been. But yeah, there's just so much you can play with.
Yeah. Sections. I hate them. I hate them so much. You there, man? You there, Manos?
Yep. Yes, I'm there.
I'm so sorry. Yep. I can hear you. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for those questions. Jason, moving on now to Cyborg 19.99, who asks, favorite Crystal Gem member? I'd probably say Pearl for me.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I also think Pearl. And I feel like that's a controversial choice, but I absolutely love Pearl. She's funny. She's got a tragic story. The performance from Dee Dee Magna Hall is so good. She's one of the more complex characters in a very complex character-driven show. And yeah, I mean, she fights like a badass.
Yeah. Freaking.
Oh, did you lose that?
I swear to God.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost that.
Okay, here's my reasons. Here's my case for Pearl. She's funny. She's got a very tragic backstory. She is a multifaceted, one of the more complex characters in an already complex character-driven show. And the performance from Dee Dee Magna Hall is really great. She knows how to sell like every line and song that she delivers. Her character design just got better and better during the course of the show, and she's a wonderful mix of like this stick in the mud kind of character that can kick ass, like, and probably the best fight. She's probably the best fighter in the show, even with Jasper in that conversation.
I think somewhere like there was some kind of like extra hit, like little blurb. I can't remember if it was like a source book or something, or like a little encyclopedia where it said like it said like this little blurb that like even Garnet said if she was to go one-on-one with Pearl, like no holds bar, she knows she'd lose.
And you know what? There is something missing. Now, this is, I guess I'm going back to, hey, characters you didn't get to see. A moment we didn't get to see is we never got to see Pearl versus Jasper. We almost had a fight. But we never got to see them fight. And I would have really liked to seen that. Because
I'm sorry.
Jasper's a great...
hang on one second. There you are.
Okay.
Oh my God!
I know
this.
Let's see. You may have got a delivery there, but
I managed to pause the recording real fast. So
yeah. So hey, yeah, we were talking about characters that we didn't really get enough to see, but man, I would love to see a Pearl versus Jasper fight, and we almost got it in the show.
Yeah,
and that would be interesting because, yeah, Jasper is one of the more powerful gems and a great fighter, but I think Pearl is technically a better fighter, but not as powerful as her in terms of strength. So that would have been a really cool fight, and I'm sorry we never got that.
Yeah. I think like you perfectly kind of summed up everything I was going to say about that. I will say though, this is going to be a little more like a personal reason as to why I like Pearl. It's not just for everything you just said, but like on a personal note, the reason why I like Pearl so much is it's also kind of like her journey to like kind of break away from that codependency, which,
Yeah.
you know, as like a struggling codependent myself, I kind of really empathize with that.
Yeah. If you want to, I kind of gave like kind of the basic surface level explanation why she's so great. If you want to dig into a little deeper, she first kind of grabbed me in, I'd say probably uh, the birthdays episode of Steven, where Steven's dying and she makes
Yeah.
a pie for him and she's trying to do the clown bit and is crying. That first got my attention for the character, because I thought that was just really interesting to see this person like just crumbling inside while trying to do something silly. And then the Steven the Sword Fighter episode happens like very soon after that, and
Yeah.
that episode really got to me a lot, personally. And you know, she's barely in that episode, but like, you know, you get to see what a cool sword fighter is. But what she meant to Steven in her absence really spoke to me. And you know, those two episodes back to back kind of sold me on the character and her relationship with Steven. And um, her story, because I started thinking more and more once I started to learn, you know, what happened. Like she was in love with Rose and lost her to Greg, and they have a child together. And she dies in childbirth, and now she has to raise the son of a woman she loved and the guy she lost her to, and that's a lot, and that's a pretty big story to me. And her her care for him, and I know some fans doubt that's sincere, like she only cared about Steven because of Rose, and that is in the mix, but I think she really did. I think she really does love him, and I think it means the world to her. And I think that'll always kind of like, you know, kind of touch me, and it's always spoken to me. So yeah, I don't put up with pearl slander.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Second question: who is your favorite supporting character in the series? I'd say if we're gonna go by supporting character, it'd be Peridot.
Uh, Maybe Connie.
Connie or Peridot? Yeah.
I really love those characters. Uh, and yeah, if we count the four leads as the lead characters, then that leaves the others out. So yep, Peridot, Connie. I really like Sadie a lot. I feel like I know Sadie. Like Sadie is like, I've worked and befriended and dated a few Sadies in my life, and I don't know. She reminds me of a lot of people I know. She's a very well crafted character. She feels really dimensional.
Okay. I would say, yeah, for me, Peridot. I think I love her journey from almost like Shockwave to going to neurotic idiot. Yeah. And Connie, she's like I said, she's the goat
Yeah,
of this series. I like I said earlier, so it probably could be a tie between those two.
yeah. She is one of the high tier supporting characters, very close to being like an actual lead. Um, we didn't really mention Greg. Greg is a really great character.
Yeah.
And I love how he grows from being kind of a joke dad character to really a multi-dimensional guy himself. And like, you know, I feel a lot for him. And I also get frustrated with him too. Like he is so kind of blasé to the point of like, God, you need to you need to take charge of this moment and you're not doing it. And I understand that behavior as well. So um, there's a lot to love. You know, it's funny. I forgot the name of the actor who plays him, but on Twitter, like halfway through the show, he like took a moment on Twitter to just thank Rebecca Sugar for giving him this great character to perform as, and it means a lot to him. And fans were like, "Oh no, Crin's dying! He's not coming back!" Like, I don't know, and they had to be explained to, no, he's not dying. He was just taking a moment to thank Rebecca Sugar.
Yeah. All right, and finally, what would Lars and Gene Starwin from Outlaw Star think of each other?
Oh man, that's I think there would be multiple. I think there would be mutual respect, and Gene and it's lucky I am an Outlaw Star guy. Have you watched Outlaw Star? Hey, have you seen Outlaw Star?
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray.
Okay, great. I couldn't remember.
The internet. The internet once again killed your answer for the umpteenth time.
Okay. Oh, I hadn't really started.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you'd. I can't remember if you'd seen Outlaw Star. I love Outlaw Star, and Gene and Lars, I think, would have a very strong mutual respect for each other, even if they. I think they would get along, because they both come from vulnerable places of self-doubt and self-hatred. Lars was a much stronger amount of self-hate than Gene had, but they did have to overcome it to become like these slick, cool guys in space. So yeah, I think there would be some parallels. I think Lars is a little bit more like Captain Harlock in superficially, but I think he has maybe a bit more in common with Gene as a character.
I think the two would get along. I think they would kind of joke with each other, and also I think we're two captains of like these outcast kind of groups.
Yeah,
really. I also think it would be kind of fun if like Lars asks Gene, "Can you teach me how to shoot, please?" And like it would just be this montage of like Gene trying to teach Lars how to shoot a gun, and Lars just fails repeatedly.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of how we see it, Cyborg. So think of those questions. Moving on to Christopher Rosa, who asks, "What do you think about the flaws and criticism of Steven Universe has had since its ending?" My TheRealManos?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
What's going on here?
All right, you got it?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Manos. I don't know what's going on.
It's cool. I'm just feeling bad that you're probably going to have to edit this, right?
Yeah. I'll do my best. Anyway, so as I was like saying, if they're coming from a certain person who rhymes with Billy Orchid, then I do not take the opinion of a woman who sexually assaulted her younger sister, as well as wrote about touching minors. So I will not be taking any advice from that person. I also think everyone who kind of agrees with that thought process also has very vapid, surface level thought process. Now, is there flaws with the show? Yes. I do think creatively there were some problems that need to be addressed, such as I think there were some redemption arcs that went a little too fast. And I also believe that there was some story plot lines that kind of went nowhere and were forgotten about. But yeah, there are problems with the show, but I do think some people have listened to some very piss poor arguments online and have kind of taken those to value.
I 100% agree with that. I think there was an attempt to sabotage the legacy of this show.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if that came from any one person outside of you know who. But I really do feel like that YouTuber was definitely trying to make a career out of like sabotaging the legacy and the narrative of this show.
Same with trying to also sabotage Legend of Korra.
Yeah, yeah. And I I have no I have no use for someone like that. I have no use for someone with that kind of hatred in their heart and someone who doesn't even understand basic storytelling. Um, so and I'll be honest, like I'm watching in real time, kind of that rejected. Like I don't think it's taken. I don't think she's gotten any more popular. Um, and I think Steven Universe is finding new fans. I am coming across new fans uh, of the show, and I don't think it's happened. I don't think she red letter media'd,
Yeah.
Steven Universe. Um, so I think I feel like she's failed, and I feel like I think anybody outside of her, I think anybody trying to dismiss the show in these really negative ways were doing it in kind of really dishonest ways, and it's reflective of this kind of uh, tone and a lot of like fan criticism that's not really real fan criticism and just trying to like build themselves up as conservative commentators and using something that people like geek stuff. Um, and uh, Steven Universe came out before this kind of thing started, so that never really got a chance to. They never really got a chance to really attack the show. And it really was kind of under their radar because it wasn't part of any like established franchise like Star Wars or Marvel or something like that.
Yeah.
So they don't notice the owl houses. They don't notice the Steven Universe until maybe after the fact. But like with I don't know. There's like the criticisms you did mention that are worth talking about are okay. Like yeah, those are kind of like folded into the many shows in art. There's always imperfections.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I'll finish this up. And don't forget, in the case of Steven Universe, a lot of these can be contributed to Sugar and Company working with the network and having to, maybe storylines were finished up too soon because they didn't have the time. Like they were only given this so much time to wrap things up, and they had to make it snappy. In comparison, Dana Terrace had to deal with this with the third season of Owl House, and thankfully she had enough time that she found out that they weren't committing to a full third season, and had enough time to finish the story she was telling. Although there are some lingering plot threads, but there were lingering plot threads of things that really didn't matter to the whole like spectrum of the story. And you can make this case with other shows as well, like over and over again. Like the more you learn about this stuff behind the scenes, the more you see it on screen. Studio meddling, network meddling. It's like it's not the fault of the creators. It's the creators kind of figuring out how to negotiate and deal with the studio and tell the story they want to, while at the same time appeasing the people who write the checks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Second question. Sorry.
No. Second question.
If you had a chance to write a prequel focusing on Rose Quartz, how would it go? I kind of think it would be like maybe like if we're to focus on Rose, like maybe talk about like the aftermath of the war. And each season would be like a different era because the gems are immortal. And maybe the final season was the season where she meets Greg and the two form a relationship, like an actual relationship.
I would go all in on Gem War, baby. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. I think also it'd be kind of fun, like maybe some of these gem seasons have like other homeworld gems coming into Earth and being like they'll basically look around Earth and be like, no, we think Rose is still alive, and we're going to prove that. So now Rose has to like hide constantly or always on the run, and maybe even talk about like how did they reach Beach City? Like how long has that temple been there? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's an interesting idea is there's the few Greg Universe flashback episodes. They almost feel like a show in and of itself. Like, oh, this is the 80s show and Steven's the sequel show. This is like like if the 80s, early 90s, there was a show, Greg Universe, about him and these wacky alien characters, him trying to be a guitarist. Like, I'd watch that show. That would be an interesting series or miniseries.
Yeah.
And it would, of course, Rose would be, one of the two main characters, and it would be this romantic comedy. It really does almost, those flashbacks almost feel like a show in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. All right. So third question. I was wondering if you were to cross over with different alien race from another cartoon fighting the Gem Empire, what alien race do you think would be able to take on Homeworld?
I think we both have an answer for this.
Cybertron.
Cybertron, definitely Cybertron.
Yeah.
That's my first answer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so kind of obvious that like if there was one alien empire, like the two of them, if they actually did exist, they would probably be at war with each other. Like there would be these long-standing galactic conflicts between the two.
Correct. Well, I mean, I could definitely see if we're doing different factions. I could definitely see Rose and Optimus easily, creating a alliance because their philosophies line up perfectly. And I could definitely see, Megatron and the Diamonds creating a stressful, tension-filled pact. And I think we have talked privately about the comparisons, but I don't really hear the fandoms discuss this. I don't think the fandoms really think about how close these two like franchises are. And I don't know if this was an influence on Sugar or not, but boy, maybe it's because I'm a Transformers fan and I just see it. But like both of these shows are about alien races of artificial life forms. One leans gender heavy towards male, although there are plenty of female Transformers, but the show gives us a majority male gendered. The other one is all female gendered. They have a civil war on Earth, and they're transforming AI life forms. They can actually merge and fuse. There's I don't know. It's just, there's a lot in common.
Yeah. I would say if like an open alien war with another race, it'd probably be Jirai, even though that's anime. I would say, yeah, Jirai from Tenchi Muyo would be another solid one. But yeah, it's Cybertron first and foremost.
Yeah, that's almost my only answer.
Yeah.
I guess if we're going into like if we stick primarily to Western, the Marvel DC universes, like and we've already mentioned like New Genesis and Apocalypse would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we stick to cartoon races, yeah. I mean, Cybertron, come on.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for those questions, Christopher Rosa. Moving on then to Gordon Rajani, whose first question is, if Steven Universe hadn't been canceled so early, what are some of the things you would have liked them to see if given one more season? I would say like talk about like the Gem Warlords that are out there trying to like rebuild the Gem Empire. I would also say like maybe talk about like Steven's like actually have Steven go to therapy instead of just be like, oh, I have a therapist now. I'm like, that's just not Steven Universe. That's like every show. I'm like, can we just have the main character go to therapy? Not until like they're emotionally damaged or have a mental breakdown. Can we just have it be like have them be upset and go through PTSD and then realize, or someone goes, hey, let's check you into therapy? Because I feel like kids and young viewers and even some adults need to understand, hey, if you're feeling bad, go talk to a therapist.
Mm-hmm. I think you're touching on it right there. I think Steven Universe Future is a glimpse into what the rest of the series would have been like. Let's say we get a season 6 and 7, for instance. I think you could easily expand Steven Universe Future into a couple of seasons, and that. How many episodes? Like 12? There's
12, give or take.
12 episodes, and I think those episodes kind of basically touch on like what the rest of the series would have looked like. And we would have been like talking to gems that were freed, like the rose quartzes, dealing with the gems who are like standing up against the change and want the old regime back. We would be dealing with Steven's psychology and going to see a therapist. I think that probably would have been introduced earlier. Let's say we get a season 6 and 7. That probably would have been maybe the story arc of season 6, and then we would have had maybe another season to kind of deal with that. I really liked, one of the things I really liked about Steven Universe Future was he's obviously starting to crack, and the other gems are like, hey, is talking to each other like, hey, Steven, okay? And it's not like they don't care. It's just like that kind of happens where people like, are they okay? That kind of like slow realization that maybe something's not okay when you're in denial and you're telling people, yeah, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And everybody kind of takes it for granted that, Steven has been kind of their rock and, their support system. And, it's interesting to see the others like kind of realistically like try and figure that out instead of like instantly go, oh man, something's wrong, let's take care of it, or completely ignore it. The truth can be kind of in the middle on that. But I do think Future was just an effort to go, okay, this is basically what we would do for the rest of this series if we had a little more time.
That's I like that. All right, so second question. Favorite fusion. My favorite fusion would probably be, I'd probably say Sardonyx.
Sardonyx is great. Mine is Obsidian. Holy crap. My jaw dropped when I saw the sword coming out of the mouth. Oh my god. And just like amazing. And I knew, and it was also a confirmation. Like for years I was like, oh man, I bet that gem temple is what they all look like. And sure enough, that was correct. And I learned during the course of the show that comic artist Guy Davis was the one who designed the temple. And I actually, when I used to be on Twitter, when that episode aired, I actually reached out to him. Oh, okay. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. Just to sum up, my favorite is Obsidian. I love that design so much. And that was kind of a confirmation of what we all felt like. Like, oh, I bet that's what they all look like four together. And sure enough. And when that episode premiered, I actually reached out on Twitter back when I used to be on Twitter to Guy Davis, the artist who designed it. And I asked him, did you know that was the thing? And he was like, no. Yeah, I had no idea. I had surprised as you were when that episode premiered. Like, he had no idea until the episode premiered.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool as shit. So I love Guy Davis. And
Yeah.
when you can actually see his design aesthetics here and there throughout the show.
Yeah. Okay. I like Obsidian. I would just say Sardonyx because like I just kind of like the just how like how much of her personality is so different from like Pearl and Garnet. It's such a juxtaposition, and also I just love like this showman Looney Tunes kind of feel she has.
Wonderful. She's the host,
Yeah.
and she is like Janelle Monáe as a giant monster.
Yeah. So third question. If you could give another character or characters their own spin-off, who would it be? I'd probably say Connie in the other gems. Like have it be like Steven Universe, but like have just this would just be a 1-season show, like 12 episodes max, where Steven and the gems go out into space to help with the diamonds for something, and Connie, Jasper, Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot are left to take care of Little Homeworld, and shenanigans ensue.
I think let's see. Of course, Lars of the Stars doesn't count because that already is a spinoff. I've already mentioned I'd love to see a Greg Universe show, and taken back when he was young. Connie and the other gems would be really cool. Let's see. I've already mentioned Gem War. Man, how about a romantic comedy of Pearl and Bismuth?
That would be fun. I would like that.
Like maybe they're having trouble hooking up, and like Pearl's like busy banging one chick after another until they kind of like find their footing to get together. I don't believe she was just collecting phone numbers. I don't care. I think she was sowing her oats with humans.
Yeah, like when she had those friends at the skating rink, I was like, so she's definitely having sex with those people.
Yeah, she was like, well, let's see what Rose was in. Let's see what Rose saw into humans. Let's give this a shot.
Yeah, like the moment she's like introduced them, I immediately went, so she's banging them. She's banging all of them.
Yeah, and I think that's even more hilarious.
Because like to her, like the concept of like sex is so like alien to her that like, oh, this is just how we be friends. Admit it, that's exactly like in character for Pearl.
Yeah, I agree. Which is also funnier because like I'm very familiar. I follow the voice actress online, and she is super Christian. But Pearl is anything but.
Yeah,
I don't know. It speaks to me of her performance. Like, man, she's really good at playing this remarkably slutty lesbian. I love it.
Yeah.
But
are you okay? Are you okay, man?
I'm good.
All right. So thank you for those questions, Gordon. Moving on to our final set of questions that come from Gluzman, who asks, why do you think Ronaldo is such a bad character? He kind of sucks. Like if there's I think he purposefully sucks. Like imagine if Dib from Invader Zim, but without the comedic punch.
Let's see. I guess I'll have another controversial opinion. I think he's hilarious because he really does piss off the fans, and I think the more he does, the funnier he gets. And I have a dislike of conspiracy guys like this guy, and I think the fact that he believes in every possible conspiracy except literally the thing right in front of him, I think is a joke that just never gets old for me.
Yeah. There's actually, it's kind of funny because he reminds me a lot of this very awful anime. It's not great, called Cat Planet Cuties. Do as you will with that kind of title. But there's a character in there, the teacher for the kid, the main character who's part of this harem, whatever, that's not the point. But in that show, she's part of a secret organization, like a secret online organization that wants what they believe perfect contact, which is they don't think these aliens are cat people. They want to see grays, like what you imagine aliens. So they won't accept that these are real aliens and want the ones you see like the grays and your typical alien. So it's like, no, those are aliens right there. It's like, no, those aren't aliens. Those are just not aliens that we want to see actual aliens, but those are actual aliens. No, they're not. It's like that. Like that's Ronaldo is an entire online community.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I like so much about the character. He's like an absolute parody of that type of person. It's like, yeah, like give it to me. I will say like the Rock Nardo episode, which I think is his last full episode that he has, I think is not a favorite of mine because I don't know, it just takes forever to do that joke on that episode. But like outside of that, I'm sorry, fans, I disagree. I really like that character, but because he's such a jerk.
Yeah. All right. So, second question: what fictional gem from other franchises would you make into crystal gems or homeworld gems? I would say like the Infinity Gems being actual.
Oh,
yeah. Like giving, like let's say, giving the Infinity Gems sentience, like that, something like
that. You would,
which I'm shocked. I'm shocked that's not been a Marvel comic yet. Like the gems gain sentience and gain their own bodies.
I think they may have done that with one of the gems. Or something like that. But hey, if that did happen, you would definitely need Steven to hang out with that gem just so they don't become a absolute threat to the universe.
Like the reality gem.
Yeah. Because you would have to have Steven like hang out with them for an afternoon.
Yeah. Hey, like okay. they all gain sentience in like human like forms, and then Steven just comes in and is like, don't worry guys, I got this.
Yeah, let's go out. Hey, let's go out to Beach City and get some fries, and we'll talk.
We'll sing a song. We'll sing a song about skies or something, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I got this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All the other Marvel heroes like, oh, let's get them. Like, oh no, hey, look, we're just gonna go on the coaster and like get some ice cream, and
we're gonna discover the wonders of life.
Yeah.
Anyway, so final question. How would you make a Steven Universe Owl House crossover?
Let's see. Well, definitely the general ideas are kind of would write themselves, like portals traveling to each other. Beach City, I don't know. The Steven Universe Earth isn't the same as the Owl House Earth.
I mean, like you could make the argument that like Beach City is all the way on like Maryland, and that's in Gravesfields in like upstate New York.
Now, granted, there's nothing in Owl House that dismisses the existence of the way Steven's Earth is set up.
Yeah.
But they could easily travel through dimensions. They both have very similar stories as far as like dealing with, they actually have similar stories in the fact that dealing with fascist regimes, trying to clamp down people and who they are, and standing up for the individual in a society that should be helping one another versus being clamped down and putting these groups. They both deal with these same concepts and with like sweet, dorky cinnamon buns as their centers. They just go in different directions. Steven is able to reason with the villains of his story, where Luce cannot. So she whacks him.
Yeah.
And Steven is able to get the others to step down. So they would first off, Amethyst and Ida would be instant friends. I could definitely see Pearl being very irritated with everything Ida does, and I get along with Lilith actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garnet would be man. First off, Luce would instantly fall in love with Garnet. Holy crap! That would be great.
I just think we get the opportunity to have Luz and Steven fuse.
Yeah. Oh God, man. Oh my God. Didn't even think about that. Oh my God. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So that would be, oh man, they would fuse. They would be able to use, I don't know, maybe
Diamond and Titan powers.
Oh my God.
Just call it the Diamond. Like, God, could you just imagine it would be called the Diamond Titan?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. We need to write to Terrace and Sugar and see. Sugar does talk to, I haven't heard any like interactions between Terrace and Sugar, but I know Sugar is a friend and cohort of Matt Browley of Amphibia, so they're in each other's circles. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think if we go like, sorry,
even if it's just fan art, Dana, just draw it.
Yeah, I would say like if we're to do a actual like full story, my pitch would be like maybe there's a monster stalking around Gravesfield and like Luz and Amity. This would be like in that nebulous time of season 3 when they're in and they're basically thinking, oh, it's a monster that came from the Boiling Isle. Maybe it can help us find a way to get back there. And no, it's a diamond. It's a gem mutant. And Steven are chasing. Steven and the Crystal Gems are chasing. It's a goddamn plot to a new Scooby-Doo movies episode. Like they shine a light. It's like it's Steven Universe and the Crystal Gems and Don Knotts.
The Addams Family. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here, Speed Buggy?
And Jabberjaw, amazing. Yeah, I could also see Ronaldo and that guy who was the conspiracy nut in that show. They are online, maybe admirers of each other's work. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, you could easily, write some sort of story to get that going.
All right. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. Yeah. So, Manos, despite everything, sorry for the internet interruptions and things like that, and we hope you all enjoyed this regardless. This is the longest Q&A by far.
Oh, really? Cool. I did it!
Yeah. Clocking in at almost an hour and 40 minutes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Anyway, so yeah, thank you all for sending your questions in. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.
And I'm TheRealManos.